Okay, we're here for Violent Money, and I am joined by Shanelle Nightmare Dyer, who's making her PFL Europe debut on September 30th in Paris, taking on Lizzie Havish, looking to cement a highlight reel start to her pro career with another one to close it out. Shanelle, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. It's like come to the end of fight camp, so I'm literally like reaching my peak now. Every day is just getting better and better. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's the obvious question to ask, but how has camp been? Because obviously leading into the biggest fight of your career to this point.
Yeah, so I'm only like 2 fights deep into my pro career now, but I think me and my coach we really found a great balance for this fight camp. Especially this one. It's been a longer one. My longest fight camp to date was guaranteed is my biggest platform I'm fighting on. So, but then we really balanced the rest days and the training days. So my training, I'm going into training well rested. So I can give 100% in each of my training sessions. So I think it's been an amazing fight camp. I don't want to have the cliche saying of like it's been the best camp so far, but yeah, I'm really growing as a fighter in that aspect as well. My nutrition's been on point. I have a nutritionist on board. He's been giving me guidance on what to eat. I'm feeling great in training because of that. I'm taking supplements to make me be on my peak. So it's training camps, like everything's gone smoothly, touch wood so far. So hoping to have my biggest performance.
Yeah. You say it's been quite a long camp. You've known about this fight quite a while, haven't you? Seems like a while ago that PFL announced that brought you in.
Yeah, so like the one thing that I realized about PFL as well, I know when I'm fighting, so I knew the second I signed my contract
Yeah.
for PFL 3 months ago, I knew I was basically gonna fight on the 30th of September. So like I got a few weeks, even months away. I've been planning on this date, the 30th of September. Started my week 8 weeks out, my fight camp 8 weeks out, and we're just growing from there to reach my peak on the 30th.
Yeah, it seems like with PFL compared to UFC, UFC
Yeah,
you get fights announced maybe a month before sometimes.
yeah,
With PFL, especially in Europe this time, it feels like, because obviously the shows are quite spread out.
yeah.
It feels like we're hearing about fights maybe 4 months before, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, like everything's really structured. So I know how to structure basically my whole year. I know when to book holidays. I know when to relax. I know when to start hard training. I know when to start fight camps. And I think they really done that in a sense. So they give the athletes time to prepare and athletes time to actually reach their peak. I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it, and everything's all laid out. So that's one of the stress that other organizations they have. You don't know when you're fighting, so you're always like anxious. Am I gonna make money this year? And you're like, when am I fighting? Who am I fighting? But with PFA, that's all set and done. So you can worry about the bigger things, which is fight camp and actually making weight and fighting.
So obviously this is the first time we've had you on the site since the deal came about. So how did the PFL deal come about?
Yeah, so like I only started my professional career there this year. I've had 2 fights, and like I sat down with my coaches and my manager at the beginning of the year about routes where to go, and we didn't really want to sign anything major. Like we kind of want to float around a bit. I'm only young. We don't want to get tied into anything major. So obviously we had that one-off fight with Hexagon that went really well. I really got a lot of hype and clout from that. And PFL kind of looked at me from that fight. But even still, we didn't really want to sign anything. Then obviously, I thought FCC had a great response from that. And then I had a lot of offers from like Cage Roars, Areas, so many different shows. But even still, we stuck down. We don't want to sign for anything. We kind of want to float around, gain as much experience, and be as active as possible. There's no rush. I'm only 22. But then when PFR came on board, they basically laid down a contract that we basically couldn't say no to. For one, it's PFR's biggest organization in the world. That standalone, that's amazing. And another thing is that I can grow within PFL. It's not like I'm getting thrown down into a deep end. I know where I'm going for the next 2.5 years. I'm on the undercard in September. I'm on the undercard again in December. Next year I'll be going on to the European stages, then to the American stages, then maybe even into the pay-per-views. I can really grow into within PFL, and PFL will help me grow as well. To become the best fighter in the world. So that's one of the best things about PFL, and that's why ultimately I signed with PFL. And the contract's really lucrative as well. I might be doing boxing fights. The PR agency is amazing. Like I'm treated as a celebrity, and I haven't even had a first fight for PFL yet. Like the response has been amazing.
Yeah, I spoke to Dan Hardy when they first launched PFL Europe, and one of the things he really talked about is that progression
Yeah.
from Europe to the global series to then the pay-per-view series. That's a real thing that draws a lot of people, I feel like.
Yeah, especially like I know that they sign people that haven't even had the professional
Yeah.
fight yet. Like they're really like they even went to the Four Nations and tried to recruit amateurs. Like they really want to do this properly, and how a lot of organizations should do it properly. Like grow people from the get go. And that's how you produce the best fighters. Give them a real pathway and really motivation. Like you can start here and look where you can end up in a couple of years. So that's one great thing about the professional fight league.
And in terms of women, they've really made a big push as well. Recently, we've had Savannah Marshall, obviously Clarissa Shields. That the PFLW thing they're pushing is quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, they're really expanding in that sense. Like they're not just signing MMA fighters, they're signing like boxers and people already well known. Like the publicity around PFL is just growing, and they're really going in the right direction. The way I'm seeing is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's not even the MMA community. Like it's become really in like casual fans are coming in and looking at the PFL as one of the biggest organization in the world, and people just looking at MMA and they're like, oh, Chris Shields, I watch boxing, I'm gonna watch MMA now because of that. So yeah, they're really going in the right direction.
And there's obviously such a big crossover now with Jake Paul being involved and Garnu
Yeah,
going up against Fury.
yeah,
Big crossover there. Um,
yeah, and it's like it gives me motivation as well. Like I see those big names, and I'm in the same organization as them, having my name in the same conversations. Like it's really motivational for me.
yeah, because I know you've talked about Ngannou, because like fighting
Yeah,
in Africa is something that you want to do as well. That
yeah,
all of a
100%.
sudden
Yeah,
looks possible, right?
yeah, 100%. I'm looking down the line, and that actually can become a reality because of PFL making dreams come true.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about the fight. Lizzie Havash, the opponent this time around. You've had a bit of time, like we said, to prepare. So, what have you seen, and what are your thoughts on her as the opponent this time? Because I think, well, she fought in the Newcastle card. I think you've seen
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, actually, I was actually at the Newcastle card,
Yeah,
and I think I actually watched that fight live. I was at front row as well, but not gonna lie, I probably don't remember it, and I don't actually remember. So that's not really a good sign. There's nothing that really stood out to me. Nothing like I'm actually worried about. Like, oh, that's amazing. I should be worried about that. So it's like it should go down as like any other fight. She's bringing nothing new to the table. I fought a lot of judokas. She's a black belt in judo. I fought on like Polaris against like one of the best black belt judos, and I just wrestled her. And I'm a striker apparently.
yeah,
I fought like three judoka, so I'm really accustomed to her game, so I know how to shut down her game. And I hit hard, so the second I hit her, I know she doesn't like getting hit. Watching her couple fights, the second I hit her, I know that she'll be like starstruck. Maybe she won't want to throw, and she'll end up being desperate and try to go for that takedown, and that's when I can catch her with whatever I want. Really, I don't think this fight will end. We'll reach the 3 rounds. But I'm prepared for anything. I know I'm gonna go out, show what I can do. It's been a great fight camp, and I'm gonna be dominant. There's nowhere where the fight will go that I'm hesitant about. I'm 100% confidence.
yeah. Slight tangent. I remember when you got announced for that Polaris match, and I see that. I'm like,
Yeah,
wait, Chanel's doing Polaris? Because
yeah,
because
exactly.
you're so known for like your striking, your Thai boxing.
Yeah, I actually have good jiu-jitsu. It's not
Yeah,
even a
yeah,
cliche. Like, it's not even a cliche. Oh, I'm a striker, but with good jiu-jitsu. Like, I actually have good jiu-jitsu. But in fights, I want to fight. I want to punch someone in the face. I want to make it exciting. Like, when I won Polaris, I was like, my caption was, I strike when I strike. I grapple when I grapple. I can do both. I just choose not to grapple in fights. So if it goes there, that's calm. I might even sub her. Like, I know my jiu-jitsu game, looking at hers, is way better. I know she doesn't really like to play on jiu-jitsu a lot. She likes to ground and pound, and that just gives me the opportunities to get up and escape.
yeah. I remember one thing you said on the Good Fight Club, which we're going to come on to in a minute. It's like you said something along the lines of once you get hit in the face, it's go time.
Yes, exactly. Like, that's talk about me. Like, I like to like kind of ease into a fight. But second they hit me. I'm like, I don't take it offensive, but I'm like, okay, like we're in a fight now. I have to get you back. Like, I will get you back, and most of the time I do get them back.
Yeah. So far, so good. And that in that
Yeah.
regard. Um, yeah, you're someone that people have had a close eye on in a while, way before the pro debut, which isn't the case with everyone, and really seen the progression of you through these fights. So what is could you this is a long break for you. You fought in March, you fought in April. It's
Yeah.
now September. It's been a long break. So what's different about the Shanelle Dyer that's going to fight at the end of the month from the Shanelle Dyer we saw in FCC at the start of the year?
I think like the most professionalism, as I said before, my fight camp's gone amazing. Gone like basically perfect. Like we've really found the balance of like me as a fighter in sense. Like I know like my weight cut's gone on point, my nutrition's on point. I'm not tired in training. Like I'm training like basically the same amounts, but it's spread out in perfectly. So I'm coming into training sessions 100%. Like my fight IQ's gone so much better. I went to Canada for like a month, did a training camp with Fahaz. My jiu-jitsu's leveled up. Obviously, I've done Polaris in between, so I've done a jiu-jitsu fight camp for a month for that. So my jiu-jitsu's really leveled up. And literally, as a fighter, like I'm growing every day. I'm mixing stuff up, and like I'm coming into this fight with an actual game plan, and the game plan's working into inspiring like my other two fights at the beginning of the year. I literally just fought like how I usually fight, but this fight we actually came up with a game plan, and I'm gonna stick with that game plan, and I'm gonna implement it in that fight. So I'm really become in tuned as a fighter.
Yeah. It's like you permanently had an itch to scratch, is what Steve said about your progression on the
Yeah.
documentary.
Yeah, I just wanna improve. Like literally, like if I'm bad, I'm that person. Like if I'm bad at something, it annoys me, but it doesn't annoy me in a way like an ego. Like oh, I should be bad. I should be good at this. Like why am I not good at this? It annoys me in the way it's like oh, why am I ask questions? I'm like why am I not good at this? How can I get better at this? Like I need to get better at this. So if I'm bad at like wrestling, I'm just like let me do all the wrestling classes. Let me actually get better in this. Who's good at wrestling? Who's gonna give me the hardest rounds? I always look for the hardest rounds so I can get better. Like I literally need to get better every day. But I know that some days you don't be your best, but then it's just like just seeing the progressions. What I'm all for.
Yeah. I think with you, it's the work ethic
Yeah.
that's really evident because another thing they said in the documentary, we're going to come on to it properly in a minute, is that it wasn't easy for you at the start, was it?
For fighting.
Yeah, it didn't come easy for you. You worked at it.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's like obviously I can see I probably have a bit of natural talent in fighting, but then I've worked for like 10 years for MMA, especially like my striking. Like I've worked so hard to be at this level. It's not like oh, I came 2 3 years ago. Oh, I want to be MMA fighter and just start like beating up everyone. Like it's been like years, like literally a decade of progression, slow progression. I've lost fights. It's not like I've won every single fight. I've lost like fights, close decisions. I've been even in my amateur career, my MMA career, I've lost 3 fights, like TKOs, and stuff like that, choke. So it's not been like a uphill. Like it's been lows and there's been highs as well, but the lows only make the highs even higher.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the documentary properly. Obviously, it was huge. Were you expecting it to be
Yeah.
promoted so big by Sky? Because I remember pressing the home button on Sky and like all of a sudden half the screen is just a picture of your face. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah, literally. That literally took me off guard. I was like, oh, that's mad. I'm actually like the face of the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
it. Like, we kind of got used to it because they filmed about 8 months,
Yeah.
last year. So we kind of got used to like the Sky people. We didn't really knew how big it was. They literally just came and just filmed like our daily lives. Like, we're not like the best thing I liked about the thing. They really humanized us. Like, they just like came and filmed our daily lives, me at home, me in the gym, me fighting. This is what I do like daily, like on a daily basis. So it's basically nothing special to me. And they just filmed that for like 8 months. And then the way it came out and the reception we got from that, it was literally unbelievable. Like so much people was motivated from the documentary. Not even like MMA fans, like casual fans, like people will message me on Instagram. Oh, you really motivated me to come out like depression. You really motivated me to start a new hobby. My son, my kids got motivated. We're gonna start our first jiu-jitsu classes, and I'm just like, wow, I actually done that. But I'm just being myself. Literally, I never played a character. I literally just being myself, and I really inspired people, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's just come out on YouTube, the same platform that this interview is on. So if you're watching this
Yeah,
interview, there's no excuse not to watch it.
yeah, literally. So much
Yeah.
people just I don't have Sky. How can I watch it? Now there's no excuse. You have to watch
Yeah.
it. It's really it's an eye opener. It's amazing.
Yeah, The Good Fight Club. It's on the Sky YouTube channel. Obviously, if you got Sky, it's on the Sky as well. Um, but how was that for you? Obviously, you hear people on documentaries like this saying, "Oh, I barely noticed the camera," and then you get people like Tyson Fury being like, "Never
Yeah,
again, I hated it."
yeah,
What was your experience of the filming? Because this isn't even your first documentary,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
crazy to
That
say about someone so young.
yeah, that's my literally like my second fight. I filmed like a BBC documentary with like Molly McCann and Corey McKenna as well. That did really well, and I really like that. Comparing to the two, like my progression from that is like it's amazing. But like yeah, the Good Fight documentary. Um, as we said, it was literally like a bit of both. In the beginning, it was really like excited. Oh my days, we're getting filmed with Sky, and I think it was like 3 or 4 months in. Every time someone mentioned Sky, would like run away. Like me and my mates, like we hated them. Like secret, don't tell them that. We literally like, they're like, oh, Sky's coming. We literally run away. They're like, even like when we were on holiday, you saw a bit of that in the documentary. They're like, we're coming on holiday with user, and everyone in the group chat was like, no, 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 no. Like they're not coming with us. That type of thing. But like, I'm glad they did. Like seeing it. Um, um, because like we don't really want to be vulnerable in the documentary. Obviously, when they're filming, like people will fight and then they will lose, and obviously they're having their moment. They don't want cameras in their face. But I think that's what they really wanted to capture, and they captured it amazing. Looking back in the documentary, watching it on TV, is just the way it came out was like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, for an MMA documentary, there is quite a lot of vulnerable moments with some of the guys, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I really liked how they humanized us. Cause a lot of MMA documentaries just and like a lot of media for MMA just shows you at your highest points. Like when you win a fight, or like even in social media, like you only see what we want you to see. Even if it's like your lowest, like you only see what we want you to see. But the documentary, they really highlight the fact that we are like normal people. Like we cry when we get upset. The sport hurts. Like we're getting punched in the face, the emotional damage we go through, and what we actually have to go through to make it to the gym, and what we actually have to go through to make it to the fight. And they really highlighted the human aspect of MMA. So it really like they kind of wanted to get rid of the stereotype of like we're not brutes, we're not criminal, we're actually human beings, and why we love this brutal sport. And they did that amazingly.
Yeah, it's a documentary I would recommend to anyone, MMA fan
Mm.
or not. You don't have to be an MMA fan to watch it, like some
Yeah,
documentaries.
it's about it's literally like even taken away from MMA. It's just about people's journey into becoming better, basically.
Yeah, because there's so many stories on it. You've got obviously got
Yeah,
Steve and Chloe and David. You've got Thomas and his journey
yeah,
to Contender Series. Got you on the kind of amateur scene at the time.
yeah,
There's Kenny with his parents. There's a lot of
yeah,
stories. There's a lot of
yeah,
there's like
yeah,
lots of individual stories, and then they all intertwine.
yeah. It's like a lot of growth. It's really like family orientated. Like, everyone has their own journeys, but we're all together. We all lift each other up.
Yeah. So then when you come to watch the documentary, what's that like? Because you're really reliving a part of your life. Not many people get the chance to do that.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually mad that rewatching that. It was actually mad in a sense like I was basically one of the main characters, and
Yeah.
I'm in like most of the scenes. So like watching it back on TV, I'm like I'm on the edge of my seat. Like I wasn't there. Like I know the results, but then I'm watching it like what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen. I'm literally there. Like the way they put it together in that sense
Yeah.
was was amazing. I'm watching it back, seeing everyone's journey. Like it's mad because obviously you see how close I am to the people with the people in the show, but it's like hearing their stories that I never knew half of the stories of like why people came into MMA, why people fight, why people came into the gym. Like I never knew how much people had to go through just to come through those doors like every morning. Literally, and that's one thing I really like about the gym. It's the second you walk through those doors, like all your personal life gets left behind, and everyone's literally the same. Everyone's literally on the same level when you're in the gym. Like we're all one. And then the second you leave the doors, everyone's personal lives come back to haunt it. But you don't really get to see that. But the documentary actually highlights what actually people actually have to go through to make it to this point, which just really elevates everyone in it.
Yeah, because it made me think like at my gym and like I know nothing about the personal life of
Yeah.
people I've trained with.
Literally, and you're like talking to a person like you know them,
Yeah,
then like you have people, you have like police officers, criminal, like ex-criminals all in one room, like bonding, like where you'll never get that out on the street,
yeah,
like but in the gym you will, like you're so vulnerable, everyone's in like the same spot. And another thing I'll say, like I done a commercial with Tom Hardy a
yeah.
few months ago, and like literally like it's literally Tom Hardy, but like the second I went in the match with him, like he was literally like another person. Like all we talked about is jiu-jitsu and fighting, like nothing about his acting or whatever. It was literally just about jiu-jitsu and fighting. And the gym does that too. It's like the sense of just like we're all one, we're all the same person.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all of this interview is just me asking, how did PFL come about? How did the documentary come about? But I have to ask,
Mm.
how did the Tom Hardy thing come about?
It's not gonna lie, it's quite a long story, but uh where did it even start? Yeah, so he has a charity called Reorg. Reorg, they raise money for people, ex-army people, and to give them a sense of community, they introduce jiu-jitsu to them. So after the army, you kind of feel isolated, so they give jiu-jitsu as a community together. So he was raising money for that, and I think Venom at the time, obviously because he's Venom in it,
Yeah.
sponsored him, and they want to do collaboration. And I think I won like a prize. I entered the competition for JD and Venom, and I won it. So I was on Venom's radar. So they basically just DM'd me on Instagram. They're like, Tom Hardy wants to do a collaboration with Venom and Ryuk if you're up for it. And I'm like, obviously I'm up for it, 100%. And I've done that. It was such an amazing experience. Everything was so calm. It was literally we were just hanging out, and then we just did that, what, 6 or 7 jiu-jitsu rolls, had the laugh, just literally just laughed the whole time, and they came up with like such a masterpiece. Like it was so good the way it turned out. And then obviously I done that advert, and then he done another one, Scramble. One of my sponsors now, Scramble and Reorg, they done another commercial, and obviously I got invited to jump into that one. But he's such an amazing person, right? He cares so much about this charity, and he's using his platform to raise money for that charity.
I think it's really cool for MMA fans, jiu-jitsu fans, people in the community. So to see someone of that profile, someone so mainstream being an advocate for the sport, mainly jiu-jitsu more than MMA, but just seeing someone like that being such a high profile advocate of the sport, I think
Yeah.
is really cool for a lot of people.
Yeah, it makes a lot of people more join as well. Just like
Yeah.
the average person can join. If celebrities can join, then like average people, any it's a sport for anyone, everyone and anyone. At the end of the day.
Yeah, we're really getting a sense of how insane your life has been in the last few months through this
Yeah,
interview. Because the next question, TriStar,
yeah.
how was that?
Tricer was like literally unbelievable. Like funny story about that. I signed my contract for PFL before I went to Canada. So literally like a week before I knew I was gonna sign for PFL, I'm like, okay, calm. I literally booked Canada 2 weeks later. I was just like, let me go Canada, like get away, have a chill, my last chill time. Cause I knew the second I come back from Canada, it's gonna get announced and everything's gonna go hectic, and which it has. So yeah, I went to Canada. Half my family actually live in Canada, so I went to mainly kind of to meet them as well. And luckily for me, they live like half an hour away from TriStar, so I went TriStar basically 5 days a week. Like their jiu-jitsu is unbelievable. Like Faraz Zahabi, his fight IQ is like insane. Like imagine having him as a trainer, you'll be so good. Like every fine detail he like he says it makes such a great difference, and he really leveled up my jiu-jitsu. Like the second I got to the gym, everyone was like, your jiu-jitsu is gonna go like rise leaps and bounds. I'm like, I laughed off like, yeah, maybe, but I literally do so much what he does. um just learning in tricep for a month, I'm still doing the training to this day. Like my bottom games, my guard games and sweeps has really elevated from him. It really opened up different aspects of my jiu-jitsu that I really didn't know I had. But the way he explained it is literally just it was unbelievable. So I'm definitely gonna try to come back next year as well. And I met GSP. Like the first
Yeah,
time I saw him, I didn't know it was GSP. I was training with my training partner. And I was like, is that GSP? And my training partner was like, oh, it's GSP. And I was like, he's such a legend. So training in the same room and getting taught by the same person as with GSP is just it was an amazing experience.
was GSP on the mats match? while you were there?
Yeah, so he would actually train like every Monday.
Mm.
Like, every Monday he would do his jiu-jitsu. But then obviously now I know why, because he's actually fighting
Yep.
jiu-jitsu in December. But yeah, he really still trains, and he smashes everyone obviously. And
Yeah.
like, I was nervous to take a picture of him, but he was so nice. He actually came up to me because I was actually being so shy. Because obviously it's GSP in there.
Yeah.
He like had convo. I had to big up myself. I was like, yeah, I just signed for PFL. Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Oh, that's nice, that's great." I said he's like such an inspiration, and I was like, calm. And he actually went to the other side of the room and started like practicing backflips. So I was like, this guy is insane.
Yeah. Didn't pull up the video of the spinning elbow while you were at it to show him.
Yeah, I should have, but I
Yeah.
just talked to him.
Yeah. That's obviously good preparation ahead of such a big fight in your career by the sounds of it. And obviously back on that fight, September 30th in Paris. Give us the hard sell. We've seen the finishes so far. Last time you were in Paris, you got that spinning elbow. My
Yeah.
personal knockout of the year so far. What can people expect to see when you get in the cage this time?
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
there's no
no
elbows. There's
elbows.
no elbows in PFR. So, fortunate for my opponents, but unfortunate for me. So there will be no elbows. But I literally think I'll finish it. I really think there'll be TKO, probably punches. I'll literally just wear her down and just. I'll probably like get her up in the cage at one point. I just lay off punches, body shots, head shots, low kicks, and I just wear her down. I'll probably get the TKO finish from that. I don't think that she will give me anything back after a certain point. After I start landing, so literally there'll be TKO first round. If she makes it to the second round, I want her to make it to the second round. I haven't done the second round yet, so if not first, then definitely the second, 100%. Gonna make a statement. Have to.
And then by the sounds of what you were saying earlier, quick turnaround plan, Dublin, December.
Yeah, hopefully I'm in the Dublin card. I'll make a statement in Paris, then back on the Dublin card, close the year 4-0 with like four massive finishes.
Yeah. But obviously you're back in Paris this time. You obviously liked it last time, and I think I know why.
Yeah, Paris is amazing. Like, the crowd is insane. Like, MMA only got legalized there about two
Yeah.
years ago, something like that. But the crowd, they love MMA so much. Like, even my last fight, like, I'm a British fighter, and they scream like I was a French fighter. Like, they're literally insane from like the first fight to the main event. So I know I'm opening the card. There's gonna be thousands of people there screaming my name. And I literally I rise up to the occasion. So it's just gonna hype me up even more. It's gonna make me want to win even more, make it exciting for the fans as well. So expect an exciting fight for me. And like, the French crowd is amazing. It literally the show got sold out in like 2 minutes. I can't even get any tickets. So much people messaging me, "Oh, can I get tickets?" I'm like, it got sold out like 3 times. Even like the fighters link, it got sold out. It got so quick.
Yeah, that's all great. The reason I thought you want to go back, because I was there a few weeks ago. I saw the poshest McDonald's I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Not gonna literally after my last fight in France, I actually bribed the chauffeur, the taxi driver to take us back through McDonald's way before we go back to the hotel after my fight. And the McDonald's was even that great. I don't know why. And
No,
it
the
didn't
McDonald's.
impress me. It didn't
Yeah,
impress me.
the
I went Paris when I was at 13, and I had like one of the best McDonald's ever. But when I went in March, it was, I don't know, like, someone had to spot out that, give me the best McDonald's restaurant in Paris. I have to go.
it must have just been that McDonald's.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because
I have to see. I have to test that out. I have to test that out.
the one I saw on the Champs Elysees near the Arc de Triomphe, it looks so
Yeah.
posh inside. It's like
Yeah.
the posh area of Paris, obviously, but
Yeah.
so posh inside. Like the writing on the windows is in gold.
I'm gonna have to. I'm literally straight after this. I'm gonna Google it. That's gonna be my Sunday treat.
Yeah. Do you have it already scouted out though? Nearest one to the arena, nearest one to the hotel?
I always not gonna. I literally always do that, but I haven't yet. To be fair, I have to get everything in order. I literally just got my hotel like the other day, so I need to like find the McDonald's in the route
Yeah.
between the to the hotel and the arena, the best
Yeah.
one.
Well, we've got a bit of time to do that. Couple of
Yeah,
weeks away now. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us today.
yeah,
Feel
no worries.
free to shout out any sponsors you've got or where people can keep up with what you're doing ahead of the fight.
Yeah, so shout out to my sponsors: Provide Security, Camaro Performance, Scramble, and Vigorate as well. shout out to my team, GB Top Team, my coaches, and my team at the Knowledge Academy, Rory as well. You can catch me always, Shanelle_Dyer on Instagram, on Facebook as well, and Twitter, even though I don't use Twitter, I still have Twitter. So find me on there. So yeah, catch me 30th of September. It'll be live on the Zone, on TV. So I'm coming to make a statement.
Yeah, you went a step further. You did the plug that I was about to do. So what's the Good Fight Club? I'll do that one.
Yeah, what's the Good Fight Clubs? It's on Sky Channel on YouTube right now.
Yeah, it's PFL Europe 3 on the Zone, September 30th. Big card, Cedric Doumbé, the Lazy King, both also making their PFL debuts. We've also got the semi-finals, Dakota Ditcherer, Simeon Powell in those as well. So, with that, best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.